Welcome to the collaborative inquiry lesson on parallel and perpendicular lines in the coordinate system by Mr. Nguyen. First, let's introduce you to GeoGebra. GeoGebra is an interactive geometry, algebra, statistics, and calculus application intended for learning and teaching mathematics and science from primary school to the university level. GeoGebra is available on multiple platforms with its desktop application for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, with its tablet apps for Android, iPad, and Windows, and with a web application based on HTML5 technology. Currently, the one I have installed and using is a tablet version for Windows. So less talking and more playing. Okay, let's give it a go. The version I'll be using again is the Windows tablet version. So first, we'll open GeoGebra, which you can see is right here on the left side of my desktop. Oh, I accidentally opened two. Let's close one of these. Okay, so let's go and expand it to full screen and let's take a look. So as you can see, this is how it looks when you first open it. Now the very first thing, which my OCD takes the better of me, is that the X and Y coordinate are not in the center of the screen. So to fix that, click on the rightmost icon that says Move Graphics View. Now you can click and drag. So I'm going to move this to center. But now my coordinate looks like it's too zoomed. So let's go ahead and zoom out. We zoom out by clicking the center of where we want our screen, and then it will zoom out for us. So typically our XY graphs are from -10 to 10. So let's go ahead and do that. So right now I'm about -10 to 10 on the X-axis, but not on the Y-axis. So let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, I think that's about covers it. Alright, so for this exercise, we'll need to use basically 3 tools. One is the pointer tool that lets us select objects. The second tool that lets us draw a line. Sorry for the interruption. To continue our lesson, we're going to be using 3 main tools. One is the object selector, or the move tool, which you can select objects once we start having some. Second is the point. So if I tell you to draw a point, use this. Using the tablet version, say I want to start a point at 2, 2, and you can just point and click, and it will create a point at 2, 2. Likewise, you can move that point if you don't like where it's located. So let's say I want to move point A to the origin. And you can see at the left that the coordinate for point A has changed. So let's say we create another point. Let's create a point at 6, 4. And it automatically labels it point B. As you can tell, if you create another point, it'll probably be labeled as point C. Now let's try to create a line. To create a line, click on the line tool, and we click from A to B. So let's create a point from A to B. And it automatically locks, and hence you created a line from point A to point B. As you can see on the left, the line is written in standard form. The last tool we'll be using is the perpendicular tool. So let's create a point that we want to draw a perpendicular line that's perpendicular to this line and goes through that point. So let's put a point at, let's say, 6, -4, or -6, 4. As you can see, that wasn't done exactly right, so let's go ahead and try to reposition it. There we go. Now we have a point at -6, 4. Now using the perpendicular tool, click on the line and the point. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. Let's go ahead and undo that. The perpendicular tool, actually you have to click on the point first, and then the line you want it to be perpendicular to. And click a point and the line. There you go. Now we created a perpendicular line to line A that goes through C, and it automatically labels it line B. So that's all the stuff you'll need for this exercise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to do. I'm just going to delete all these objects as we continue with our presentation. The objective of this lesson is for your group to use GeoGebra to explore the relationship between parallel lines / perpendicular lines and their slope in the coordinate system through the specially designed task that you will find in the following slide. So this is the task. Your first task is to create a point labeled A at coordinate 0, 0, then a point labeled B at coordinate 4, 3, and a point labeled C at 8, 0. Your second task is to create a line between point A and point B, which we will refer to as line A. These type of labeling should be done automatically if you do it in the correct order. The third task is to create a parallel line to line A through point C, which we refer to as line B. And the last task is to create a perpendicular line to line A through point C, which we refer to as line C. The only thing I did not teach you how to do is to create a parallel line to line A. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to create an arbitrary line. And then I'm going to move this line so that it's this line should have a slope of 1. And let's create another parallel line. So the parallel line is located next to the perpendicular line, and we wait for the drop-down menu, and we go to parallel line. Before that though, let's create a random point. So let's do a point, let's say 0, -2. Now to create a parallel line that we call line A, over here to the left, with a slope of +1, that's parallel to that line and goes through point C, click on the parallel tool, click on point C first, and then click on the line that you want to make a parallel line. And voila, you created a parallel line. So with all of that, let's see, for example, I'm going to create a perpendicular line as well that also goes through C to make it very similar to the problem that you will be facing in your task. So again, the perpendicular tool is at the same tab as the parallel tool. And again, we're going to click on the point that we want the perpendicular line to go through and the line that we want it to be perpendicular to. And voila, we create a perpendicular line that goes through C that's perpendicular to line A. This should be all that you need to complete your task. So let's go back and talk more about your task. So what I want you to do is to find the slope of line A, the slope of line B, and the slope of line C. Compare those slopes. Did your group discover any relationship between the slope of parallel and perpendicular lines? If so, describe that relationship. Can you create a line that is parallel to line C through point A using the point-slope equation for a line? What is the equation of such a line? Turn in your results to the collaborative inquiry on a separate sheet of paper and turn it in at the end of class.